Hold on. Adjust my seat here.
Yeah, you're 6'8". I'm only 5'2".
Yeah. 500 pounds.
5'2", 500.
Ish.
Give or
All
take.
right. So,
Can you edit this back?
yeah, I can edit this back. I can do whatever we want to do with it. Figure it out from here.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're sitting in the office. We're kind of, I would say, in a weird state right now with everything going on with the whole COVID-19 thing. We're only in here 2 days a week. I'm in here basically whenever I want just because of my position, and I'm not a tradesman like Mike is, so
What is it, damn good emergency manager?
yeah, thank you. So we were just sitting here talking and discussing things and discussing where we wanted to go with this whole project that we've been talking about, Strengthen the Human. We initially thought about going in one direction, and then when all this stuff happened and hit and the social distancing came into play, and the states were forcing families to be at home, try to telework as much as possible. It's affected us here on the base. We're doing the same thing. I'm teleworking. So it just kind of brought a lot of things to light for us about people's state of mind. You know, taking people out of the norm of coming to work every day and doing the day in and day out stuff, and now forcing them to be at home and focus more on the family, focus more on doing things with their families. So it just kind of pushed it in a different direction. We're still going to stay on the same basis of, you know, doing our lifting and stuff like that, and using that as a means to empower us to do better in our lives and do things like that. But I think the main focus now is on focusing on each other and how each other are coping with the ever-changing and fluid changing environment that we're living in right now, because we don't know what's happening on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, so I know you talk to a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people, especially with this project. I think that this is okay. So this is going to sound maybe really good and really bad at the same time. Every challenge presents an opportunity. At the same time, we're losing, well, hundreds of people a day
Correct.
to this. So with that, there's a piece of it that makes you, for me, for you, for people, you got to feel that on some level, whether it be somebody you know, whether you're watching the news and you're watching these numbers of infected and death, and it's all are horrific. So with that being said, because we can't focus on every one of those people individually because we lose people on this planet every day, I think this is another situation that Josh and I discussed this a few weeks back. Because of our backgrounds, good, bad, or indifferent, I feel like we had a little bit more foresight maybe that this was going to be a much bigger situation as it was across the globe until it got here, before other people that aren't quite as aware maybe, or they're not looking at things in the same way as an emergency management person or somebody that's doing research would have known. So we were, I think, I don't want to say stressed, I think more game-faced for this, knowing, and as it's become our new normal, I think that with the disaster and with the sadness and the nervousness and the washing hands, social distancing, and all these things that are becoming our new normal, hopefully for a finite amount of time, there's got to be a way to put some reasoning behind this, like you were just saying, and be able to use this empowerment project that we wanted to start as maybe more important now than ever on some level, and get it started in more of a flash kind of way. Let's just get out here and start giving our message out to people, because right now, if you want to look at this from the non-TV view, we have time right now, all of us, to take up something new, hobby, family, arts, crafts, taking naps, reinvesting ourselves with our families, friends, at a distance. But again, the idea is that we right now have an opportunity as we live day to day, and if we survive and we look at each day as something that's given to us in a special way, we can now start to empower ourselves and have the time to actually do it. Our process, I think, is to maybe give people that don't quite know how to do that, or they don't quite know what that really means, maybe a little boost to say this is the time to take advantage. Whether you live today and die tomorrow in anything, car wrecks, I mean, tragedy, COVID-19, this is a perfect opportunity to start something either new or to continue on or embrace something that you may have always wanted to do.
Yeah,
I hope
exactly.
that makes some sense.
It does make sense. That's really good point. I think that's really why we're sitting here right now talking about this, because you and I were thinking of doing something a little bit different with the project and how we were going to start off on it, and having that
and completely valid. I mean, it was a completely valid way.
Yeah.
Not to stop you, but these times are bringing complete changes of thought, and especially from a logistics standpoint, to every industry in the world, including something as simple as this.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just we were going to start off and go in one direction, and then when all this hit and all this happened, obviously we kind of socially distanced ourselves, even between him and I, just because you know him and I are good friends. We're like family. He's a brother to me, but still, you have that. I have a full army at home. I have 5 kids and 4 adults that live in the house, and he's got him and his daughter. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be more inept to maybe contract something and bring it in, but
well, it's like it's you want to protect you, and you want to also protect them. So we're all considered what they call, the military calls it, or science and healthcare vectors, meaning this phone, anything we touch and grab, sputum, things like, so every vessel and every person becomes a potential vector.
Correct.
So us keeping our distance on some level is as much about taking care of me as a person as it is taking care of someone else. So that's kind of why we have to get together in the format that we are. We're very lucky we can do this and that we are healthy. But when we leave here, we have to be cognizant of keeping that distance. So this is a way for us to stay connected and also reach all of you awesome folks out there in the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about kicking everything off with YouTube, doing a YouTube channel and a website and everything like that.
That's still coming.
It's still coming. We're still in the works of doing that. The website is up and running. I did publish that. There's not much content on it just because we're starting out right now, but I think our big push right now is the Facebook page.
We kind of agreed. Josh, I got to give him all. I'm a credit guy. This guy's been working his ass off in not keeping me motivated, keeping me on point, because we have our strengths and weaknesses. He's the guy out here that everyone that sees this, hopefully a lot of people see this, that's pushing me to be more cognizant and more on point with that technology aspect of it. I'm pretty good with talking on the fly, coaching, and putting together lifting sessions and things. This is the guy that's making all this possible. We both are, but this was his. We did it together, but this is really his brainchild to keep that Facebook thing going. And hopefully you can give some insight on where that came from.
Yeah. So the thought about it is using social media. Obviously, I mean, that's what runs our lives nowadays. People are always on social media. I have an Instagram, Facebook page, and stuff like that. But kind of using Facebook and Instagram as kind of a test for us to see what people's thoughts are on what we're putting out there.
It's like a window, like they're starting to open that window a little bit.
Just to make sure that we're on point with what we're saying, and then that we're hitting the audiences that we want to hit. So when the Facebook is up and running and you guys want to comment on things, or you have something that you guys want us to talk about in the video, by all means put it in there. We'll do our best to get to it, and that's really the concept behind the social media using Instagram and Facebook. But first off, we're going to start off with the Facebook page, and then I'll work into getting Instagram. A lot of you tech people think it's simple, but for me, I'm not that technologically inept, so it takes me a little bit of time to figure things out and do it. But we're slowly in the process of doing that, and I would say probably here by the end of the week, we'll have a Facebook page up and running. And this video is obviously going to be our first video to kind of gauge where we're going to go with this. I mean, we have an idea of what we have, what we want to project out there, but we won't know if it's the right thing unless you people, our followers, talk to us and let us know where we should go with this. And by all means, use this as a device. If you are in need of help, or you do want to talk to somebody, by all means reach out to us, and we're more than willing to talk with you and help you out and guide you in the right path that you need to go, where you want to go. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about empowerment. Our device that we talk about all the time is we lift. We do strongman exercises. We use that to basically cleanse our mind and our spirit at the end of the day, and kind of put us back into a neutral position and get us ready and motivated to continue on with everything that we do.
It's the axis, that balance for people that understand it and that want to start to utilize it. The strength piece, while many people find it vanity or they find it to be interesting aesthetically, or obviously you can tell that some of us don't really have that kind of a deal. The point I'm trying to make is the strength portion, the actual lifting aspect, becomes this axis for the balance of everything else. So for those of you, I didn't want to cut what you said off. For those of you out here who are seeing us or this or hearing about this in a surprised way for the first time, this process, and we probably should have said this in the beginning, but we're doing a lot of assumption right now because we're talking to some folks that have already really been supporters of this, and you all know who you are, and we thank you. We are working on empowering ourselves through empowering others, and the entire basis for this is about utilizing physical strength and exertion in non-vanity type ways to better and open up our mind to better ourselves in an entire wellness circle. That's the entire process of this.
Correct.
It's come across in many different ways, and there'll be many videos that we already recorded, many thoughts and different little snippets we've taken that will explain much more of that. But we're trying to draw you all in to come along on this journey with us in your own way. So whatever means something strength-wise to you, I'm not talking about muscles, you may have strengths in certain ways. Music, art, home improvements, getting to know each other, anything that drives you in a certain way. We're going to be showcasing things that drive us in the strength world to help you realize what you all would like to find more prevalent in your own lives. So our journey of strength can be yours, and your journey can help empower us in other ways too. So we're all learning together. We're just taking the reins right now, and we want to share this experience and your experience together through videos, sit downs, vlogs, snippets, run and gun interviews. We're going to do it all. This just simply came about today because Josh had mentioned how important it was to get something kicked off in a time of need where the entire planet is together as a species, realizing we have some challenges and some massive changes to make.
And I think that this kickoff for everything it comes at a great point for us, because it's almost going to be like a new beginning for everybody, because we're going to come out of this, in a month or so, and people are going to have hopefully a different outlook on the way things are and the social norm and stuff like that. And hopefully you're taking the time and focusing on what really matters to you and what really matters to your family, and trying to spin off in a new direction. I know for me personally, I was kind of fearful of actually staying at home and working. I actually did a snippet that'll come up a little bit later on about how much anxiety I have with doing something like that, because I always feel like I need to be on site or on location to be able to assist people coming from my emergency services background. But in the same aspect of that, when I was at home, it gave me an opportunity to interact with my children, interact with my wife who's home as well, and it's opened up a bigger picture for me and allowed me to focus on things that really matter to me. One of which is being this project. The other is focusing on me as an individual, trying to understand me, and finding those avenues that are going to help me to embrace my new beginning, and basically push this thing forward and try to make it as successful as possible. I mean, this right here, what we're doing is our passion. We love to coach. We love to help. It's in our blood. It's in our nature.
It's definitely sometimes it almost sounds cliche-ish, but it is absolutely a mission essential piece to feel complete. I think is giving back, and with the only thing you want in return from giving back is the satisfaction in knowing that if you did help somebody make a difference, that they took it and ran with it further than you did, and then they just paid that forward. That it's recycled energy that makes itself more powerful. It's a garden that each crop you want to grow stronger, and you always have the memory of the people that came before us and the things that came before us, but you get better and better as you go. So the whole idea of doing this is re-empowering ourselves to do something that's really important, but also realizing that our biggest hope for this process is that everyone goes way past where we are and then shows the next group how to go past where they are. It's a continuosity.
So, I mean, like I always say, it's the power of positivity.
That's it,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, people can be mean and hurtful, and sometimes we are too. But I think we do kind of a good job of bringing ourselves back into check. And
or you call each other out, or you learn to call yourself out, where you say, you know what, I was not. I thought I was doing the right thing, or I felt a certain way, and I owned that situation, but I look back and realize I'm not going to get mad at myself. I could have handled that better. And if you keep doing that, which I've seen you working on that, I know I work on that, and there are a lot of others that I've noticed because of our very beginning dabbling in this, I've seen starting to work on that.
Yep.
It becomes contagious, and it's a good contagious, meaning that is a constant reminder to ourselves to self-reflect. And I think, not to go back to our COVID-19 era that we're in, but
we're about right now.
This is quite literally about reflection. I want to say one thing about all the people that we've lost, brothers and sisters all over the world. America, Italy, China, Korea, and everywhere else that's affects Spain. We're losing people. There's no question. We also lose people to cancer, to heart attacks, to the flu, to car accidents, you name it. But we're losing people right now at a rate I think that's alarming. I would guarantee the vast, vast, vast majority of people that we lost would want to know that when they expired from this horrific situation that we're in, that there are people that are remaining. Of course, the vast majority remains, that are trying to make certain changes to better the world that these folks that we've lost have left. And I think that would be a very powerful echo for that. So whatever your spiritual feelings are, whatever your religious needs are, whatever your day-to-day thoughts emotionally are, the one thing it's safe to say is whatever this is all about, this whole thing, everything, the people that the people that leave us and go wherever they go, whether it's from this or anything else, old age, I think the vast majority, and I mean 99% of them, would want people that they leave behind to continue on and do something better for themselves. I really believe that in my heart of hearts, and I think that's a huge piece of when Josh mentioned, let's get something started that's on paper, as in AKA Facebook, let's do this raw. This is why I think we're doing this right now, because we could spend the next 6 months to a year preparing this perfect Petri dish grown project. It would look really good. Right now, the world needs something raw.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we both have loved ones that we've lost, not to this, obviously, but we've all had that desire, and it's just something that we want to start the movement. I guess I can call it a movement of the power of positivity, and hopefully this thing spreads like wildfire. Even if you guys just click on it and watch it for a few seconds, at least we're affecting somebody by somebody watching this for the few seconds that it's on. We're not asking for miracles. We're not asking for monetary things. We're doing this because we love to do it. We're doing it for the passion of getting our message out there, and hopefully, like Mike said, it'll reverberate and we can start off fresh once all this stuff is done, and hopefully we'll be leading the path to a better world.
Okay, so there's a million, well, there probably is a million, but let's say hundreds of thousands of companies, upstart podcasts, and they're all good. They're all good in their own way. Everybody has their own passion. I think the one, and nobody's exactly unique. I mean, there's a million people doing what we're doing. There's a million people doing other things. There's a million people teaching you how to do lawnmower repair. There's just so many things out there. So there's an oversaturation on some level. What I'm learning, and this is from the help of Josh and a lot of other people, again, who you know who you are, that are there to support this in so many different ways, that the uniqueness, I was under the impression and a little bit leery of getting involved in this part of it. Always wanting to empower, always wanting to lift and train, always wanting to give to somebody else, but this part of it, and I realized the uniqueness is completely valid, meaning you could have everyone doing their own thing and it's still unique because everyone actually is unique.
Right.
The one thing I want to say that sets us apart, at least in some ways from others, is the key is the monetary piece of this. We are not doing this. We're not a nonprofit. We're not a business. We simply are, right now, this is a project. We're calling it a project, which gives it room to grow artistically. It gives it room to improve where we might turn our workouts somewhere else. It might end up being something morphing into something else. So right now you are literally on a journey, if you choose to be, and we're on it with you, of complete giving and receiving and just sharing. There is no tagline. We're not trying to sell you anything. We talk about the gift is the lift, and that gift after the lift is that endorphin rush you feel. It's a place to do some work where you sit down with your friends, your family, your community, your coworkers, and you share some experience and actually get a little bit deeper. But just, again, everything's unique because everything's unique in life. But with this particular situation, there is no hook here. This is simply a combined journey that we have been relishing and dying to share. And this is the opportunity. We always have opportunity. This is a massive opportunity that we want to take advantage of so we can reach the most people, especially in this time of quiet. Chaos, but quiet, meaning staying at home. I hope you can concur with that piece.
I can exactly. I mean, with as much time as we have now, this is the best time ever to be able to do something like this, because you're gonna touch base with a lot of people because they're in the same state we are. They are at home. They are trying to find things to do and trying to figure out new things for them to accomplish or attain. So it's going to be a life journey for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's going to be a life journey for you guys. Hopefully, you enjoy this, and we want to learn. We want to learn just as much as you want to learn. So if you have input or you have feedback or you just want to talk, by all means, reach out to us. We will either talk to you via Facebook. If you're local, we can bring you in. We can talk to you on camera if you're up to that. But I would pose this challenge to all of you that if you do want to reach out and communicate with us and tell us what you guys do to empower yourselves, and you want to challenge us to that, we'll accept that challenge. But we would also ask that you come out with us and experience our journey and experience our passion and see
the shared piece.
Yeah, the shared piece. That way, we can understand and we can both learn from each other. And that's really what empowers people, is the fact that they're willing to step out of their norm or their comfort and experience new things in life and try new challenges in order to gain that knowledge.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I think one of the things that plague all of us, we're all included in this, some worse than others, and I think part of these journeys, the one we're taking right now, there's a recognition that there is an unnecessary level of walls that somewhere, I want to say in our teenage years, somewhere we start putting walls up where children just react and interact. Somewhere along in life, we become a product of a nurture nature of the social norms of our area, of our sadness and inconsistencies. Sometimes we have embarrassments, insecurities, challenges, and walls start to come up, and you start to kind of morph little by little into certain demographics, and into certain types, right? And I think this is a process piggybacking, as we say, where you show me your superpower, Josh shows you his, this person shows you theirs, and you share something, and I think little by little you start chipping away at these really, really thick layers of walls that people have up naturally. We have them. We all have them. It's just when you are aware that you have them, I think you start through this process, you start to realize them. It can be really hard to look at yourself and others, but especially yourself. And then you almost salivate again to want to do something different, to take on a new journey that rips those walls down. We're never going to rip all the walls down. We're always going to have these things. But the idea is that if you know that the work is never done, the journey continues for life. That's what this is all about. So might sound a little bit deep for an introductory, but this is a very, very important endeavor for us, and we are 100% wanting everyone to daisy chain together and take it as a crew. And you don't be afraid to do the same thing we're doing. If you start sharing everything.
Yep, and I think I think just wrapping up with everything here, this more than ever is the best opportunity for us to do this in this state of being in the world that we're living in today. So it all depends on our fan base and the people watching.
100%.
So by all means, hit us up on Facebook. That'll be coming here by the end of the week. We're going to be building an Instagram page as well. I'll be doing that. And also we do have the web page. It is strengthenthehuman.godaddy.com.
Yep. Is that up and running? I mean, I'm asking you in real time. Correct. Is that up and running right now?
That is up and running. There's photos of us from doing our workouts and various other things. And also I'm going to be setting up a blog page on that. So feel free to write in on that and leave us your comments on Facebook and tell us your story. You're obviously going to be seeing our story through video and through blog. So hopefully,
might even get together and do a workout.
Correct. Hopefully this all works out, and we'll see where this project goes.
I want to read you a quote from Dan John. He's a very, very quietly famous strength trainer, and very quick background. I do not know Mr. John, but I know of people that showed me a lot of things in an overseas format when I was deployed. They took a real good liking to me because I happened to be at one time pretty good at strongman, and somebody turned me on to this gentleman, and he has a podcast, and I don't want to give necessarily a shout out at this point, but I do want to read something that I keep close to myself at home, in the office. I know Josh has a copy or two. On his one of the things he says is make a difference, live, love, laugh, balance work, rest, play and pray, basically meaning enjoy beauty and solitude, wear your seatbelt, don't smoke, floss your teeth, put weights overhead, pick weights off the floor, carry weights, reread great books, and always say thank you. It's the most basic pretenses, and it fits what we're doing to a T, and I throw the challenge out to utilize exactly what that quote says in your own way and find your superpower.
Good.
We got anything else for these guys?
No, I think that's about it. Stay tuned. There's going to be more videos coming, and hopefully you guys like it. And please share your comments and let us know what you think.
And when you say comment, we're all about critical, critiquing, telling us how it is. All we ask is that you give us a fair shot, and we keep it all positive, because we're always going to respond positively. It's always positive. Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, appreciate you.
All right.